Once again, pleasant day and welcome to this particular topic on our P4PE Talks webinar. Today's discussion, we shall be paying attention to the strategies for building and maintaining high-performing teams. Interestingly, a lot of organizations have been grappling with trying to make their team as productive as possible, so that they can achieve the highest results as much as possible. We notice for certainty that a lot of teams, once upon a time, were delivering very well, but in recent times, perhaps, are going through some troubles and they are struggling with results at that point in time. Why do high-performing teams, why do they fail? Why is it institutions, organizations, team members that used to do wonderful well, over time begin to struggle? You have the names of some great institutions, good organizations that we've seen in the past. We also know some team members within your organization that has done extremely well in the past, but now they are beginning to struggle to produce results. And for those who are currently producing results, how do we ensure that they continue to deliver this kind of results that we expect them to deliver at that point in time? Well, our session today is going to unravel some of the mysteries behind team poor performance and how we can sustain while building an team that is highly performing at that point in time. My name is Joel Omike, and I work with P4PE Institute. P4PE Institute is a consulting firm based here in Lagos, Nigeria. We are passionate for growth, for organizational development, for HR transformation, and also for data analytics. We've had an interesting time in our environment in the past 13 years of business operations. We cover industries like the aviation, the financial services, manufacturing, energy, public service, FMCG, ICT. We cover this particular environment also. Within this period, we've had the opportunity of working with some institutions, including NGA, Tetraco, FBC, Stanbic IBTC Bank, GT Bank, MDS Logistics, FCMB, First Bank, CFAX Group, UACM, Sahara Group, Mocha Foam, Philips Outsourcing, Boa Foods, the list goes on. Over 70 organizations that we had the privilege to engage with some of our services as a kid. My name is Joel. I've had the opportunity in the past 23 years helping executives to develop and build their business. I'm a trusted advisor. I'm an organizational transformation specialist, and I'm also a HR professional, as the case is. The session with you at this point in time is going to help you to appreciate how you can effectively build and develop great teams and deliver results within your environment. So let's get started. We shall be looking at this conversation. First, we'll set direction on what it means to actually have a team that is solid, that can drive for results, that can produce results. We'll also look at what exactly makes a team highly productive. We'll also see what it takes for a team leader to gather resources and to deploy resources effectively in the right way in order to produce the kind of result that we expect to produce at that point in time. And then we shall look at how to assemble a team that works on prioritizing results and how you can execute those results as much as possible within the organization, and then use that result to deliver the most at that point in time. But first things first, by way of definition. So while we are not looking at teams generally, but it makes sense that we look at exactly what teams are and how our understanding of teams will help us to achieve greater results. So a team is different from a group. And generally, a group refers to a set of individuals who come together in order to achieve a purpose. But a team goes beyond achieving a purpose. In fact, a team approaches their results with mutuality, mutual accountability, because you're relying on one person to do his part for us to be successful. In a group, we can still be successful whether one person plays his part or he does not play his part. Think of it like a football game. In that particular football game, there are various players in the field. So there is the goalkeeper, there is the defenders, there are the midfielders, and then there are the strikers. Imagine a football game without a goalkeeper. That's a serious shortage. Or a football game without strikers, or without defenders. And so that's the thing about teams. You cannot execute flawlessly and succeed very well if certain team members, if members of the team, 1, 2, 3, 4 team members are not on ground at that point in time. Now, what makes a team high performing? A team is said to be high performing. They are committed, they are coordinated, they are focused, and they adapt to various circumstances that they find themselves in. And they have various kinds of skills at that point in time. They are able to communicate optimally. There is direct feedback when they make their communications, as the case is, whether they communicate forward or they communicate backward, or they are providing feedback to their colleagues across the place. So they are able to produce the kind of results that they expect to have in order to achieve the numbers that they need. They also align themselves around key initiatives that they deliver. They focus on winning in the long term while achieving results periodically on the short term as they progress at that point. Perhaps one of the greatest definitions of high-performing teams is their ownership mentality. They take ownership as if the whole thing rises and falls on them. As if anything fails, they have failed at that point in time. So they are extremely accountable on the way they run things within the organization. Now, there are a couple of dynamics that you also find within teams. And these dynamics affect the kind of results that teams are able to produce. And this also affects the final outcome for the team at that point in time. When it comes to group dynamics, we'll be looking at certain things that affect teams, like the energy that the team brings to the table, the energy that the team brings that they are able to use to produce results. Some teams are not very energetic. They drag themselves, they pull themselves along at that point in time. Sometimes they don't listen to themselves very well. But when there's a high level of energy in the team, you can feel the excitement, you can feel the passion, you can feel the drive at that point in time. Then there's also engagement. The higher the level of engagement, where you don't need to every day keep motivating people. There are some people every day, the supervisor must motivate them before they start their job, before they do their work at that point in time. Such individuals are draining energy away from the team. All right, and they are not able to produce the kind of results that they are expected to produce at that point, because this will lead to the team being slowed down in delivering the results that is expected. Okay, now let's look at the aspects. What are the aspects of high performance teams? The aspects for which you are able to look at and say, okay, these are the things, this team, you can look at the team and say, no, this team is doing very well. They are working extremely well. There are 7 things here, 7 aspects for a high-performing team. One is clarity of direction. We say that your team are high-performing if they understand the vision of the team, they understand the mission, the objective. What is the team? What has the team been designed to do? Maybe it's a digital marketing team. What is the vision and the direction of the digital marketing team? Maybe it's a production team or a customer services team, as the case is. What is the vision for that team at that point in time? And what are the strategies that they are using to deliver results? Then there's also, they are able to gather and where it's whatever milestones that they are pursuing, they rally around it in order to deliver results and also to achieve great things. Then you're able to assemble the team together. Different players, different skills. There is chemistry in the team. Some teams, there is no chemistry. It's like just showing up for work. Once it is 5 o'clock, you're off. You leave immediately. There is no trust, no energy, no excitement between you and your fellow colleagues. There is no common line of conversation, so to speak. The only thing that binds the two of you together is the work you're doing. You deliver, you hand over, the person delivers and hand over, and then you move on at that point in time. You need teams that have a lot of chemistry. Then also the ability to prioritize work. Sometimes a team member is not able to prioritize work very well. He's not able to balance what is expected and to deliver effectively at that time. The absence of being able to make this happen means that other team members will be waiting on him or waiting on that individual and will be causing them delays regularly. It could be causing frustration because other team members will have finished their plan, but your inability to prioritize work very well will slow your team down. And then there's also the ability to execute the plan and then motivate the team member to produce results. Empower everyone. Give them the results that they want. Give them the responsibility and the authority that they need, that they require to get the job done. Sometimes managers give responsibilities to team members, but they withdraw authority. They give you responsibility, they don't give you power. They give you the task to be done, they don't give you the authority to get the task done. It can be very frustrating when you feel that you are not being empowered to get your job done very well at that point in time. Now, it is not all team members that are 100%. There are some team members that have some skills that they need to build and work on. So part of our task, especially as team leaders and managers, is in addition to giving assignments to our team members, is to build their skills, help them to develop depth, let them be sound, let them be good at what they are doing. And don't give your team members the same work every day. Try and stretch them. If you expect them to do 20 today, tomorrow make sure it is 2. If you expect them to do 2 miles today, tomorrow make sure it's 2.5 miles. That way you're stretching them to always do more at that point in time. But be careful so you don't overstretch and then lead to a situation where the team member breaks down or collapses and is not able to produce much results at that point in time. Now, there are some teams that are either oriented towards tasks or oriented towards teams. The high performance is oriented to the two at the same time. What do you mean by being oriented towards tasks? Task orientation means you're focused on deadline, you're focused on budget, you're focused on process, procedure, systems. You are always asking and querying whether we have followed that particular system very well. You're focused on results. That's all that matters. So you're task-driven. And some team leaders say the result justifies the means. That we are here for business, we are here for results, not for all those mushy relationship things. Another team member, another team leader, as the case may be focused on team orientation, not task. In this case, they are focused on building their team, developing their team, focusing on participation, making sure that everybody is carried along, ensuring that there is cohesiveness, that we are bonding together, we are working together. They are people-driven, and they enjoy working with each other at that point in time. Have you noticed that when it comes to task orientation, in an oriented environment, they enjoy working individually, they enjoy working alone. But in a team orientation, they enjoy working together in order to get the results out at that time. What's the implication of this? So when there's too much task, right? When there's too much task, there's a way your team members respond. When there's too much task and no sufficient team behavior, you see that people focus on the end product or the end project at that point in time. They move quickly towards the results. They don't carry people along, all right? They are always under pressure to deliver deadlines at that point. And it has consequence. When you are focused on the end product, team members will feel completely uninvolved, as if they are not part of the process at that point. There is no connection in what is going on at that point in time. And there'll be relationship, friendship, and things like that will suffer a lot. They will not be able to produce the results that you expect them to do. Managers will run meetings with little or no input from other participants because the participants feel like they are not being carried along. All that matters to the manager is the task. Too much task. Focus on task at that time. When there is too much team, in the first case, too much task. Now there is too much team that is happening at this point in time. Meetings are consumed with personal issues. That's what you notice. This person will be talking about how he's not happy the way somebody spoke to him yesterday. The participants use project time to complain about the team or the organization. We don't understand. They did not bring our allowance yesterday. They did not give us this. They did not give us that. The team conversations is full of complaints and issues. And sometimes groupthink can happen. Groupthink is a scenario that happens where one person comes up with an idea and everybody follows that particular idea. Nobody wants to be different. So he follows an idea, even though he has a different idea at that point in time. What is the consequence where you have too much team and less task? The goal may be lost. Your project, assignment, whatever you're working on will suffer. It will suffer in being overrun with timeline, becomes more expensive to execute at that time. You have too many action items and will be completed. Every meeting, we are coming up with new action points. Okay, let's work on this. Let's work on this. Let's work on that. And none is being activated at that point in time. And then timelines are delayed. Deadlines are missed because we are trying to carry everyone along at that point in time. And this is not a good way to find ourselves, as the case is in your team. Sometimes, one of the reasons why we have this problem is a lack of appreciation of what we refer to as the 5 stages of team dynamics and team development. This is a very, very common expression. And if you have attended team building and team development training, they will have shown you these 5 stages. Usually, every team has a day when they join together, when they begin to form together. Take, for example, imagine in your office, right? In January, when you resume in January. Usually in January, sometimes there are new recruits, new hires. Somebody has been redeployed from that department to your department. Somebody has been moved from another place. A new person has been recruited and added to your team. So all of us in the team, we are not used to ourselves. We are seeing ourselves for the first time. So what happens is you are in phase 1 of the 5 stages of team development. You are at the forming stage. And at the forming stage, everybody is careful. We are doing silence, doing careful. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want them to know my real person. You are very careful. You greet people very well. Good morning, how are you doing? Even somebody who is an amoshe, you greet him well. Because we don't know who is who when we join the team at that point. So we are forming. Formal. We are behaving very formal. Very at that point in time. Then you move to the second stage, stage 2, which is the storming stage. At the storming stage, we have seen ourselves for a while. See finish are setting. No more forming. Now your real person now shows up. Somebody steps on your toe, you rake at the person. Why did you step on my toe? Why didn't you bring that report since yesterday? It's not yesterday you're supposed to deliver it. At that point in time, there are usually issues, quarrels, anxiety. The team has a lot of issues. Who is going to be the leader of the team? We are quarreling. Don't talk to me anyhow. Who are you, sir? When did you join this team? So you see those kind of storming issues in the team. At stage 3, maybe the team leader now says, guys, please come back. Let's talk about this thing. Look, let's not be behaving like this. Go. This is your assignment. Joel, you're in charge of this. Hassan, you're in charge of this. Bulos, you're in charge of this. So at stage 3, you normalize the team. You assign responsibilities to everybody. Decide when we are going to have meetings, who will manage the meetings. There are rules and procedures that are put in place at that point in time. Instantly, the storm settled down. Now that there are rules and we are guided by the rules, we can now move to the performing stage of the team, where we now start producing results because we are guided by rules. We are guided by principles. We begin to like ourselves, understand ourselves, respect ourselves, and we begin to produce results. And then we can perform to the end of the period where the team has results, and then we abandon the team at that point in time. Please note, it is not all teams that progress from stage one, forming, to storming, to numbing, to performing. Some teams never get to performing. Some teams stop at storming. They have issues until they remove some team members. They redeploy some people out of the team, or some people resign and leave the team. They cannot cope. They say this environment is a toxic environment. I cannot work here again. That's an example of a team that could not get out of the storming stage. Then there's also the numbing stage. Some get to the numbing stage, and then one person in the team can just get upset and violate the rules that were set in the numbing stage that sets us back to the storming stage. And those are the concerns that we find with this particular arrangement also. So for clarity, at the form, it occurs when team members first come together as a team. Members feel optimistic, they are proud, they are happy to be in the team. If you ask everybody to give speech, they say, I'm happy to be here, thank you for, and things like that. But they are resentful. And how they act on focus because nobody knows what is expected of you. You don't know what your job is, your KPI, what is expected of you, how you should behave. They're unfocused. We're also impatient. We cannot wait to start working at that point in time. Then from forming, we move to storming. During the storming stage, difficulty sets in. Teamwork falls apart. Various attitudes begin to show. Our real personality come up at that point. That we resist any new approach. If anybody introduces something, say, no, that's not the way we are doing things here. We are resisting in all the ways we do. Then how do we act? We argue, we quarrel, we challenge, conflict regularly. We are defensive, trying to, everything is competition, competing with your colleague. Even somebody who is not, you are not doing the same thing with the person. You're behaving as if you want to compete with the person within the team at that point. You even question the wisdom of the team. Who even said we should be working like this? Who even said we should start things like this at this case? So there is a lot of tension. In some cases, there is jealousy that you find within the team at that time. Then there is numbing and storming. At the numbing stage, the team now says, okay, it is time for us to set some rules. Okay, we begin to accept the team, all right? We express constructively any criticism we have, okay? Things are going okay, things are normalizing at that point in time. We avoid conflicts. We follow the rules, all right? We follow the goals of the team at that point in time and follow the boundaries that are defined by the team. Before we progress to performing, when the team reaches its performance stage and is able to produce the best results that is expected of it, the members begin to feel that, okay, their interest is being taken care of, all right? They progress, they are satisfied with what is going on in the team. The results follow at that point in time. People are changing, achieving results on their own, self-driven. They present and work through groups and teams, and there's a close attachment to the team. We work together as if we are one family. We are producing results at that point in time. This is what happens when the team comes together and they are able to achieve the results the way it's expected of them to achieve the results at that point in time. You can see that they are all forming together, ticking together, and they are able to produce the kind of results that is expected of them, and then they can then move from there to greater results. But clearly, like you can see, it is not easy for the team members to follow this particular phase and succeed with it. So question, if you can chat in the box, which of these stages have you experienced personally? Which of these stages have you experienced personally? These 5 stages that we have covered, which of them have you personally experienced? The forming, the storming, the norming, the performing. Which one are you currently experiencing in your team? Which of these 5 stages are you currently seeing in your own team? Or which of them are you currently seeing in your organization where one team is experiencing? Is it the forming, the storming, the norming? Which one are you currently seeing? Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, nice. That's good, that's good, that's good. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So some have seen this several times. Some are currently in the performing stage, some are in the forming stage. So if you just got a new job, you are most probably in the forming stage. Notice that when you get a new job, everybody's behaving like they like you. People are trying to be nice to you. They are showing you things, they are arranging things for you. As the case is, it's forming stage. Enjoy it while it lasts. Forming is coming. Okay. All right, beautiful. So let's advance. Now, how do you build a strong team? One of the best ways to ensure that your team grows and you produce results is by inviting feedback regularly. Get team members to share. Let them discuss. Let them engage with you. What are their pain points? What are their concerns? What are the things that they are experiencing at this point in time? Let them share those things. And they know that you are asking for feedback from them. Some team leaders don't know how to ask feedback. And so sometimes even when they call for a meeting to ask for feedback, team members do not know that it's feedback that they want. And at that point in time, they may not even be offering it at that time. Then learn to share information. Share information sufficiently with your team members regularly. There are some challenges also that we face when you're trying to build a high-performing team. One is hoarding information. Some of our team members, they have access to information useful for the team. They will hide it. They will hold it to themselves. They will not share. They will hoard the information at that point in time. I wonder why they do that. For some of them, they want to be in the center of attraction of everything, so that they are the only ones who know it at that point in time. For some others, it is inferiority complex. They are not secure. They feel that if everybody knows what they know, then they are no longer relevant at that point in time. Then there's also low engagement. Some high-performing team members, there's no engagement within the team. You see that there's no energy in the team, and that is a challenge that can drain the team of the energy it needs to make progress at that point in time. There's also lack of transparency. We don't trust ourselves. When somebody is saying something, we'll go and take a red check to see whether what he's saying is true or not at that point in time. Because the person has a history of saying things that are not really not true at that point in time. So there's no transparency in that particular team. For some other team, there is no strategic view on matters. Everything is operational or personalized at that point in time. And that affects the way they are able to produce results and move at that point in time. So there is no trust. There is no strategic direction on how they can achieve things at that time. Then there is, maybe the team has failed before. Your team, there's something you're supposed to have done before, but you failed, you did not deliver on it. And because of the lack of delivery previously, you notice that team members are perceived as not being a good team. I remember days in the banking industry sometimes, during MPR, maybe one branch, the branch is known for posting losses regularly. When it comes to MPR, it will post loss. So whenever we see the team members during MPR, they're always looking as if they are lost themselves. They're always looking as if there's no energy, there's no excitement, nothing around them. Once they get out to make presentations, some people say we know what they present. It's another lost position. So some people, some team members and some teams have a bad historic perception of not delivering and producing results. And that can challenge the team and make them not to be able to work because they will have thrown in the towel at that point in time and say they cannot do this work anymore. Then there's also poor change management. Team members and teams that are not able to adapt to changing things and changing realities at that point in time. Then they're working in silos. Some team members don't like cooperating with others. They will code, hide, do their own thing. They will not share. They will not let other people know. They prefer to do their own thing their own way. And it's not a team way. Silos is not a team way. Finally, lack of goal congruence. Congruence is alignment. Your goal, my goal is in alignment. So you can have some team members whose goals are not in alignment with other team members at that point in time. And that can create serious concern to be able to achieve the results that they expect. So for you to ensure that your team produces effectively as expected, clarify the objectives of what needs to be delivered upon at that point in time, so we can achieve the goals as much as possible. All right? Then there must be appropriate leadership. Other team members should be allowed some measure of leadership. As a team leader, periodically invite other team members to lead. Even if you come and lead the meeting, today you are going to anchor the meeting. Today you're going to manage this as a case. Allow people to shine, all right? And then ensure that the members of the team, they have the right skill, knowledge, and experience. There's nothing like having a team member who is not qualified for his job within the team. That team member will be dragging the rest back. And others will be looking at the team leader for his inability to manage the team at that point in time. Then there's the issue of commitment. Are we all committed to the team goals and the objectives of the team? And then the working techniques and the objectives of what we're pursuing. So the team should have adequate techniques for making decisions, for solving problems, and also for generally moving ahead at that point in time. This is one of the best ways we can use to ensure that the team is able to get the result that is supposed to get in order to achieve what is expected at that point in time. There's also other areas that we need to pay attention to in order to achieve these great results. Now, I'd like to share an illustration with you of a particular institution so we can see how they are able to achieve their own results in those areas. As we, I'm sure some of you are familiar with this particular game, Formula One race. This is one of the most respected and coveted sport events globally, and a very expensive game. It is a game of team spirit, 100% teamwork. There's what they refer to in this game, if you follow the game, as a pit stop. A pit stop is a short period of time where the driver of these cars come and park and will quickly attend to the needs of the driver. During the pit stop, they can change the 4 tires of the car. They can refuel the car at the same time while they are changing the tires. They will take care of the driver, change the engine oil as the case is, or top up the engine oil as the case is, and do 1 or 2 adjustments on the integrity of the car before the driver zooms off. And all this is done in 10 seconds or less in some cases as the case is. So it's a high energy, high level of team. We cannot afford to have a team member in this particular game fail. Think about it. Imagine that for each tire, there are about 2 persons fixing the tire. Imagine that the team fixing the front driver's tire, when they are screwing the tire very well, they made a mistake and they screwed it well. Or the person who was supposed to give the driver juice to drink or water to drink, because he quarreled with the driver before he started the race, he decides not to bring the drink for the driver. Let the driver drive with taste and parched throat in that particular game. Or the person who is fueling the vehicle, instead of fueling full tank, Because he doesn't like the driver, he decides to fuel half tank only. What do you think will happen to this particular game, to their team, if they have any issues among themselves? Think about it. What will happen if the driver is at loggerheads, right, with any of the team members in this particular place? Maybe the driver is not, he quarreled last night with the guy repairing the tire, or he quarreled 2 weeks ago with the guy who is fueling the vehicle, as the case is. What will be the impact of that quarrel on the game? You will agree with me very clearly that it is a dangerous situation, that they will not bring the same energy that they expect to bring on board at this point in time. If you look at this particular picture very well, can you tell who the team leader is? Can you find the team leader in this particular? Yes, exactly. That's the team leader. You can see him here standing, right? But it doesn't look as if he's a team leader. Everybody is busy trying to get things done. His job is not to do the work. Note, if you are leading a team, your work is not to get the job done. Your work is to manage the team so that the team can produce the result as expected. It's just like in project management. The job of the project manager is not to do the work. The work of the project manager is to orchestrate the resources, manage the team very well, and ensure that results is achieved at that point as much as possible. Unfortunately, sometimes we are short-staffed. And when we are short-staffed, even the team leader is involved in getting the job done. All of us are doing the work at that point in time. Do you know what happens when the team leader is 100% involved in getting the job done? Some people say it demonstrates to the team members that yes, all of us are involved, as the case will be. It is not nice for the team member, for the team leader to be involved in the work 100%. One, it might result in micromanagement. Two, it may result in him not appreciating the work that other people are bringing to him because he knows how to do it better at that point in time. Four, there's a limit to what we can produce. So as a team leader, he is there to lead, to set directions in order to achieve results at that point in time. So high-performing teams must have clarity of the mission and the goal. You see, to these people, they know what the mission is. They know what the goal is. Nobody here will say that he doesn't know what they want to achieve at that point in time, right? They operate very creatively. They are focused on results. Each team member is self-motivated and is pursuing the goal as expected. And then he builds on the team strengths and the results at that point in time. Let me focus this conversation a little bit on some of the things that make a team to fail. And then after it, we'll wrap up our discussion with the team leader, what the team leader can do in order to achieve great results. There is a book by Patrick Lencioni in which he talked about the 5 dysfunctions of teams. 5 dysfunctions of teams. In these 5 dysfunctions, he spoke about different things that can make a high-performing team fail and not to produce the results that is expected of them. One is inattention to detail. When the team does not pay attention to the result that they've been organized together to achieve. 2 is avoidance of accountability. You cannot hold anybody responsible or accountable on things. Or lack of commitment, fear of conflict, and absence of trust. Let me talk about avoidance of accountability. Perhaps in another program, we'll talk about the other ones. Accountability. Accountability means that everybody know their part, play their part very well. They are ready to go the extra mile to ensure that not only does their part work, but that the parts of others also succeed. Because if anybody fails in the team fails. Accountability says that if anyone fails, then the team fails. So it's not about the fact that I've done my part. It's when you work in a high-performing team, doing your part is not enough. You say, okay, my part is to produce letters. I produce the letters. Let those who deliver the letters go and deliver it. That's not the way it works. Or you say my part is to call the customer. Whether the customer pays or it doesn't pay is not my business again. It is everybody's business to ensure we achieve the objective and the goal of the team at that point in time. You must be fully accountable. Accountability says that so long as it depends on me, I will see it through at that point in time. And this is what is expected in order for us to achieve the kind of results we expect to achieve on it. Now, teams possessing the following characteristics are more effective in producing their results. One, they are clear on their objectives. In your next team meeting, ask your team members, all of them, ask them, what is the number one goal we are pursuing as a team? What is the goal we are pursuing as a team? And see what they say to you. If possible, ask them to write it down. Compare what is written. Did everybody in the team write the same thing? If everybody in the team did not write the same thing, then there is lack of clarity of the objective of your team. You need to work on team objective so they can be clear on it at that point in time. Two, high level of participation from all team members. Are your team members excited? Are they involved? Are they engaged? Are they producing results at that point in time? Is everybody pulling his weight? Three, emphasis on quality. Some people say, okay, it's okay like that. Let's just give them, let's just move it. It's okay like that. When you print a document, are there smears on the document? Are there typos in the document? When you produce a report, are there missing data in the report at that point in time? When you serve, are there missing items in it at that point in time? Those are elements of lack of quality. And you know team members who don't produce quality. They always explain their shoddiness or tardiness away. Say it's okay like that. If he doesn't want it, let it be like that. So you can tell and make sure that you emphasize quality regularly at that point in time in your team. Then four, high level of support. They must be well supported in what they do within the team at that point in time. So those are the four areas that you are able to produce the results that you want. So of these four, so we've spoken about clarity, participation, quality, and support. Clarity, participation, quality, and support. Which of these four is your team struggling with? And what can you do to ensure you help your team out of this particular problem? It's very, very critical. So you can work on it. So now we'll look at our last discussion. Our last discussion is, what is the role of the team leader? What is the role of the team leader? The leader of the team, okay? What is your job? And how does your behavior and your result at that point in time affect what the team produces? The result the team produces at that point in time. This will affect the kind of results that you get. Remember I said earlier that it is not the job of the team leader to be doing the job. Because when he is involved in doing the job, he can slow us down at that point in time. And then we may not be able to produce the kind of results that we want at that time. So if you look at this particular team, look at this team in this game here. Have you noticed that the team leader is backing where they are going? Can you see in this game? Is backing where they are going, right? Imagine if in this team, right, that one person, all of them are expected to be rowing in one direction. One person is rowing in a different direction. It will be counterproductive on what is expected at that point. So what's the job of the team leader? Well, Peter Drucker said something. He said a manager develops people. Through the way he manages, he makes it easy or difficult for them to develop themselves. So the primary job of the team leader is to develop his team members. And what he does can affect the way they develop themselves and the way they are growing at that point in time. Drucker also says that he directs people or misdirects them and channels them in the wrong direction at that point in time. So as a team leader, your primary task is to set direction and direct your team members in that particular direction. Be careful so you don't become a form of misdirection. And then finally, he brings out what is in them or he stifles them. We use the expression that he brings out the best in his team and makes his team to shine, to grow, and to produce results effectively as much as possible. So the role of the team leader involves three things. One, the task that the team was designed to do must be achieved. Your role as a team leader is to achieve that task. You cannot go to management with excuse. Management is not interested in hearing excuses. You must produce results. Two, the team itself has needs. As a team, there are needs that the team members must produce and follow that they are supposed to achieve as much as possible so that they can achieve great results. So make sure that the need of the team is well attended to at that point in time. And then thirdly, teams are made up of individual members. Get to know each member of your team and find out what your team members need. Help them to achieve it. If they achieve it, the team will achieve its results also at that point in time. So team leadership, there is no one way of leading a team. The way you lead your team depends on the kind of team you inherit, the results, the solution you're pursuing at that point in time. Some team require an autocratic leader in that particular team, who will set direction and guide them in producing their results. Other teams require a democratic leader, right? Who is able to consult with them. Okay, what do you guys think? How should we do it? What is your opinion? Okay, can we compare this opinion with this opinion? Some teams and some tasks require consultative leadership. While there are some teams and tasks that requires delegatory leadership, in which you delegate tasks and responsibility to team members and get out of their way so that they can go and do their job and get the job done at that point in time. And that is how to lead those particular teams to effective results also. Now, your style of leadership, of leading that team to achieve high performance, depends on the type of staff you have. In that members of the team, what kind of staff do you have? If you have team members that used to forget themselves, if you give them job, they forget you gave them job before. You cannot do delegatory, you delegate and go and sleep. They too will go and sleep. If you have team members who are professionals, very educated, very skilled, very sound, you cannot give direction to them. You must do consultative with them at that point in time. So you see, it depends on the kind of team that you have. It also depends on the history of the business and the organization. Are we an old organization? Are we a young organization? Are we a startup organization? Or are we an established organization? That will determine which one we're going to use. And then the culture of the organization. What is the culture of the organization? Because the culture will determine how best you're going to achieve great results. Then the quality of relationships. What's the relationship between the leader and the team members? If you're close to your team members, you're going to be on speaking terms. But if you're not very close and that relationship is not very there, so to speak, you're most probably going to focus on the task only, as the case may be. Then what are the changes that the team must involve in, must do for them to achieve results at that point in time? So the nature of the changes that are needed will also be determined by the results that you get at that point in time. So those are examples of what is required for you to achieve results in various areas within the team. So the functional approach that we've said initially is for you to achieve the task, you must define the task, plan ahead, brief the team members, control the various results that are expected at that point in time, and then you'll be able to achieve the final outcomes as the case is. Then evaluate regularly, motivate the team, organize what gets to be done at that point in time. Lead by example, show them example on how to get this task done. And then you'll be able to produce the results that is expected as much as possible. Remember what we've said so far. For you to achieve leadership success in your team, you must look at yourself as a leader. Who are you? What's your background? What's your style? What's your strength? What's your capability? What rights do you have to lead the team at that point in time? Then you also look at the followers, the team members who are working with you at that point in time. What's their experience in the task and the job that they are working on? And how can you help them to deliver that?
It's 12 o'clock.
Then the context, what's the context of the activity that they are doing? And how can you help them to achieve that result? Why are we pursuing this goal? What is the objective? They must all understand it. And of course, finally, is the outcome. What will success look like when we achieve results at that point in time? If you follow what we've mentioned so far, then perhaps you're going to build a high-performing team that ensures results regularly. And the results that you produce will depend on the risk that is available before you, because the style that you use, the style you use as a team leader depends on the risk you're facing, the type of business, the change that is happening, the culture of the organization, and the nature of the task. Always be flexible. High-performing teams are usually led by situational leaders who adjust their type of leadership style and what they are approaching at that point in time in order to deliver the results as expected. So if you're able to achieve that, then you can close up very well. In closing, let's look at the 3 roles, important role that the team leader must play. 1, you are an initiator. You must start every process and action, because sometimes team members will be dragging their feet. They'll be slowing down, as the case is. So learn how to start. An initiator, initiate things, get things going. If you notice that team members are dragging their feet, pull them together into a meeting, set the agenda, and let's start running immediately at that point in time. The second one is model the way. Be a shining example. Be a role model for your team members so that they can follow you and do the things you're doing at that point. Let them learn from your example also. Then learn to teach and coach people who do not understand it very well. If possible, even mentor and counsel those who are missing the mark and those who are at their early stage of progress at that point. And then you can achieve great results at that point in time. All right? So we'll wrap up with Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, the ex-CEO of Apple, he once said that we should be a yardstick of quality. Some people are not used to an environment where excellence is expected. Some team members are not used to a high-performing team. They are not used to working in a high-energy, high-exciting team at that point in time. So Steve Jobs says that your job is not to make it easy on people. That's not your job. If you want to make it easy on people, go and sell ice cream, right? He says it is to make them better, make your team members better. You can be nice by all means, but make sure you stretch your team. Stretch your team. Set deadlines that stretch them as much as possible so that you can achieve the kind of results that you expect to achieve at that point in time within your team as much as possible. So there you have it. We have just finished discussing how you can build a high-performance team culture that gets the results regularly so you can continue to deliver the kind of results you expect and continue to build your team members. This is just a webinar. And within this 1 hour, we've been able to cover the various conversations around what makes a team, the struggles that a team goes through, the various stages that they are in, and also the kind of leader that we need in order to lead a high-performing team. And we have said that there is no one single leadership style that works for such teams. You adapt your style as you make progress down the line, and then you can achieve great results at that point in time. My name is Joel Omike. Thank you very, very much again for being a part of this conversation and for having me. Thank you very much. I will take any questions that you have. Thank you as much as possible. Any questions, feedback? Angela, your hand is raised.
Yes, it's good afternoon. This is wonderful. 1 hour well spent, and I am wowed by all that I've taken down so far. And in fact, at some point you were so fast that I couldn't get some of the points you raised, and that will be around the functional approach. Before that was the, no, I think I missed all of that. But thank you to start with. I want to say thank you very much for sharing this knowledge with us. It's been so exciting for me, and I want to find out if I can get the slides of this discourse, and also perhaps listen to it again, the recorded version, please. Thank you very much, Joy.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I'm sure the team have responded that the materials we've made available. Thank you. Okay, so Bode is asking, how do I incorporate this to a team who are managed within a retail environment, as the case may be? Again, it's about the same thing. The thing is that if you look at most security, if you look at some of the banks, let me use the banks as an example, early in the morning, before they start, you notice that the team lead of the security guys will bring the security out early in the morning, and they have a conversation, they do some small matching, and then they review some things. It's the same thing. Before the supermarket starts each day, before the retail store starts each day, you have an engagement with your team members. You remind them of the objective. Why are we here? Remember, we said that a lot throughout the discussion. Clarity of the objective, clarity of the role each team member has to play to achieve the objective, and ensuring that we are accountable to follow through on the results at that point. I'm sure you can do it, right? And you can apply it to your team also. Okay, so we'll take one more question and then we're good to go. Okay, Biondo says, please share your insights on a situation where a team lead sees a high potential staff as a threat or a perceived successor. This way, delegate tasks that does not align with his or her strength. Well, to start with, the team leader is wrong. At that point in time, it's an institutional issue that both HR and management needs to address. There is no need for us to feel threatened by a subordinate, right? At the end of the day, once upon a time, we were subordinates before we became team leaders. So let's create opportunities and platform for our subordinates to also learn and rise up and to become like us one day. It's called legacy. Then secondly, it's also an issue of insecurity. The organization should also look out to see if there are ways to build that team leader so that they can find better areas for them to rise up to and then continue to lead. Then it is a no-no. Assigning tasks that are unrelated to strength or unrelated to the team is not acceptable. It's anti-high performing teams. It doesn't produce good results for us at that point in time. So I would strongly recommend a conversation with that manager so I can understand what is at stake at this point. The next Ayodele says, how do you deal or manage a team member that always gives reasons for wrongdoing? Well, once too many. First, have a conversation, try to understand where he's coming from, and let the person appreciate that we do not condone such behavior. Be very clear about it, give him opportunity and time to change, support him in the change process. If he fails, it might be necessary for you to move him out of that team to another team where his skills and abilities may be much more useful to at that point in time. So you use authoritarian team. So Lushola is asking, how do we use authoritarian leadership style in achieving team performance? You use authoritarian team leadership style for a case where your team members are not well informed. They are not experts in the area, and there is no time for teaching. So what you do is you state clearly what needs to be done and ensure that they get it done. In the authoritarian style, you do not have time for opinions and for views. And you usually use this when the team members are not very informed. Secondly, you use the authoritarian style when there is no time, you're under pressure, there's a deadline, there's no time for too much discussion. So you use the authoritarian style at that point in time to get through and get to the results at that point in time, right? Okay, I think I'm just going to take this last one. How can team members stay agile and responsive in a rapidly changing environment? They should remain informed. They should remain educated, especially about the changes in the objective and how the organization is responding to those particular objectives at that point in time. How can one get more commitment from a team member that's delivered below expectations? Just do a root cause analysis. Find out why the person is not delivering according to expectation. Is it a competence gap? Please train and develop him. Is it a behavioral issue? He's not happy. Try and motivate him, all right? Or is it that the organization's expectations of him are too high? Find out exactly what is the cause of the problem. Then you can respond accordingly at that point in time. Then the last one says, how do you relate with a team leader who refuses to attend to issues as soon as possible, especially when the same team leader gives an assignment? I think it's his leadership style. I think it's his personality at that point in time. You just need to continue to create awareness, write to him, agree on deadlines with him, and make sure that you meet up with those particular deadlines, and then provide him with as enough information as possible. Sometimes a leadership style is not working very well with the team. And remember, we spoke about it earlier, that your style must be in alignment with the members of the team that you find at that point in time. Again, you may need engagement with that team leader, with someone a little bit more senior within the organization. Okay, there you have it. Thank you all very well. My colleagues will share additional details for us. It's been nice having this conversation with you. Thank you and lovely afternoon.